Hi, I'm Parker Dahl,
And I'm Warren Eichhoff,
and welcome to So What?
a place where we ask the question that everyone else is thinking. When it comes to historical events, so what?
Why should I care? How does any of this stuff impact our lives, anyways? Well, we'll attempt to show you today how some historical events do impact your life today.
The following are but some of the answers to those questions. And as always, you should do additional research to make up your own opinion based on the facts that we have available to us.
Today, we're going to talk about the Russian Revolution.
Specifically, the strained foreign relations that followed it. In fact, we could even reimagine this as a modern day rivalry between two gamers. I wonder.
Well, are you ready, sir? These missions won't accomplish themselves.
Oh, I'm ready. Let's do this.
Okay. We're almost there. Just a few more.
Hey, are you okay over there?
Don't ask silly questions. Just keep going.
Okay. Although you aren't really helping out much anymore. You better step up your game, dude. Son of a nutcracker! Where did you go? I'm on my own. Done. Finished. Good job, mate. Germany will think twice before they mess with me again.
Yes. Good job. Nice work, comrade.
Who are you?
Who am I? Vladimir Lenin, and your new partner.
What happened to your Romanov?
Romanov? Don't worry about him. He wasn't very good anyways. I am much better. So,
What happened to Romanov? He wasn't.
shall we play
He
a game?
wasn't that good. But who's this guy? Why is his facial hair like that? Can I trust him? Or am I next to disappear? You know what? Actually, I think I need a break. I'm gonna get going. Yeah, and never accept your call again.
I just want a friend.
The Russian Revolution will happen in stages.
In 1917, Tsar Nicholas Romanov abdicated his throne due to strikes and the fact that people were marching in the streets calling for bread.
A provisional government decides to stay in World War I. Troops are becoming more and more disillusioned. They're losing morale. They're underfed. They're lacking the tools to fight the war. And having watched thousands of their brethren and their comrades in arms die, soldiers begin to mutiny and abandon the front line.
In November of 1917, Vladimir Lenin led the Bolshevik takeover of Moscow and the Kremlin, naming itself the new government.
So what?
Oh, not you too.
Who cares about the Russian Revolution? I don't live in Russia. I saw how the Romanovs stepped down, and I can't see how this is relevant to my game. Besides the fact that it set up a decades-long showdown between two of the world's greatest superpowers?
There are some reasons beyond even that. Lenin had demonstrated something that terrified non-communist countries. People could revolt.
In fact, Lenin and Trotsky claimed that there would be a worldwide communist revolution.
Non-communist countries didn't like this idea. They saw what happened to Tsar Nicholas and his family. They were going to do everything within their power to stop communism in its tracks.
People would soon be freaking out over the idea that communism would spread all over the world. And thus comes the Red Scare. People began accusing others of being communists, turning people in. Depending on the country, this accusation carried varied levels of severe punishment.
Not to mention that non-communist countries didn't want to trade with Russia in any way. Doing so might let others think that this is a legitimate government and they didn't find this rogue economic theory worthy of consideration.
They turned away from Russia, and Russia had to make friends elsewhere.
There's a lot more nuance to this story, but even so, you can start to see one of the issues that affects us today. Russia is still considered one of America's main rivals.
Communist, or the term pinko, referring to the color pink, a lighter shade of red, as communism was associated with red. Communist was used as a slur, and still is today, for labeling people who are associated with the ideas of communism that came out of the USSR and the Soviet Union.
Villains in Hollywood movies tend to be Russian.
I must break you.
Isolating a country and anyone associated with that country due to fear can be a dangerous thing. The Red Scare was not a good time for free speech in the Soviet Union or in many other countries.
And leaving Russia to its own devices also ended up hurting the Russian people. Stalin rose to power and led an unchecked, brutal dictatorship over his own people. While many use this as an example for why communism is bad,
the US and many European nations during the 1920s and 30s largely let this happen. They didn't really want to get directly involved.
The point, the US has chosen to get involved in some crises, but ignore other ones.
Trade with some authoritarian regimes and isolate some democracies.
It's your job to look into those countries and scenarios and decide what you think. Your voice is more valuable than you may know.
Foreign relations are extremely tricky and complicated, but each decision made by our country can affect your very future. Oh, I suppose ignorance is a weapon that people could use against me. If I don't know any better, then I might simply just follow the crowd.
That is very true, young sir, but can you repeat that last part? I just want to make sure that I have this for my notes.
Wait a second.
You wouldn't want to disappoint me. Now, would you?
Wait a second.